How's it going? It's Nomad TCG here, and today I'm bringing you guys a new, cool, innovative deck that I guarantee none of you have seen before. So, a while back ago, I was checking out E3's channel, shout out to Keegan, and he was posting some of these like different ways you could play dragons, build dragons, and I seen that he had this like idea for Dragon's Mirror in a Lightsworn deck to make like a Lightsworn dragon deck. Well, that idea interested me a lot. So, a couple months back, I kind of built like a template deck list. Now I'd play a few games here and there, but now I've landed on something that I have to share with you guys because this deck is absolutely cracked. Like, I have not lost many games with this deck, and it's one of the funnest, most interesting, most innovative, and it just has so much power and so many cards that like you can just go off in a turn and it doesn't matter. It almost feels like if your opponent has 5 back row, if you have Dragon's Mirror and JD, or like JD plus Red MD, like you can play through all of it. It's an absolutely insane, it can be a very sacky deck, it can be a very slower paced deck, turn into faster paced. I mean, you can play almost any matchup with this deck and I guarantee you will see success. So I'm going to get into the deck list. I have 2 games for you guys today. One of them, I can't remember what the deck is, but we'll get into it. And then I played against a hero player with a little bit of a salty ending, so we'll get into that. So, without further ado, we got our 3 Hamster, our 3 Raikou, 2 Lila. So again, you know, I talked to you guys about this in the Machina vid. This engine is just absolutely insane. Hamster getting your Raikous. I mean, you want to see this. Like, you know, you get a starter, you can get 2 bodies out of the Hamster if it lives through, you know, your opponent's attack, which 90% of the time it is. So then you can leave this open, you know, just be able to push for some damage on the following turn. Then we got the 2 Lilas, like I said, to break up them back row. These cards just do an amazing job at doing that. We play 2 Honest, of course. This card's like really, really unfair in Edison format. Then we got our 3 copies of Red MD. This card is wild. I wanted to build a deck around this card for so long, aside from like, you know, a traditional dragon deck, so I think we've stumbled upon that now. And then our other Lightsworns are going to play a copy of Lumina, a copy of Aaron, copy of Jane. This guy I would never play in any other Lightsworn deck but this. And what's funny enough is I've actually tribute summoned this a couple times, and this guy literally can get beefy, like 3,500, 4K. Like, you can get enough names in the graveyard and he is ginormous. And also, like, he's a great card to summon back off your Red MD too, just if you're trying to like do enough damage on field into monsters. And then I didn't want to cut Celestia completely from the deck, even though we were playing a tribute monster in this form. So I decided to keep in 1 Celestia, and this card does put in work. You'll see that in one of my games. So definitely got to include this in the deck somewhere. Card's too good. And then Arcus. Arcus is actually cracked to bring back off Lumina, and your opponent can't just target your Lightsworns at all. Then we play a copy of Card Trooper, of course. This card's just good. And then the 2 Judgment Dragon, because we can only play 2. 2 copy of Red Eyes Wyvern. I think 3 is a little bit too bricky. I think 2 is just the right amount. Like, you know, this card's not like phenomenal by any means, but like literally, like if you don't have anything going but you open like Future Fusion, your opponent's just gonna have to deal with this like every turn, which is kind of nuts. And then we play 1 copy of Drago, and I promise you guys, you don't need more than this. The 1 is just enough, because basically once you get it in graveyard, like if you're able to go for a kill shot with Red MD, your Red MD is always going to revive this, like, because usually you'll summon out Red MD, you'll activate Dragon's Mirror, and then you just use Red MD to revive the Drago, and then you just push for game through Gorz, Tragodia, Battle Fader, any of those cards. Like, this card's insane. And then also, this is just a good normal summon, you know, on turn 1. You can really lock your opponent out of, like certain decks out of the game. Then we play Debris Dragon, of course, Plague Spreader, Dandelion, and then for spell cards, we're playing 3 Solar Recharge, Charge of the Light Brigade, copy of Future Fusion, of course, 2 Dragon's Mirror, 2 Gold Sarcophagus, Beckoning Light, Call of the Haunted, and a Mirror Force. So the Dragon's Mirror is just insane because this is the card, like, you banish 5 dragons from field or grave, so you're going to be banishing them from grave most of the time, and then you get to summon out 5-headed dragons, so you just have a 5k beater off this one card. And then, you know, Gold Sark to fetch you Future Fusion in this deck. It can fetch you Charge, it can fetch you Red MD, it can fetch you Judgment Dragon. Like Gold Sark is incredible in this deck. And then for traps, I didn't want to go too heavy. Like, as you can see, we're not even playing like Torrential or Dust Shoot. I think these 3 are just the good 3. Like Call's insane to bring back so many different cards. You can bring back Trago before you go into battle phase. You can bring back a Lightsworn to sack for Celestia. So big fan of this. Also, you can even bring back the Honest, bounce it to hand. So really like Call in this deck. And then Beckoning Light, just to get, you know, if you by chance end up milling both JDs before you can see one, then you have Beckoning Light for that. Or you can add back Celestia, Honest, you know, whatever. And then the Mirror Force is just a generically good trap card. We'll go on the side now. So on the side, we play 2 Consecrated Light for like Black Wings. Then 2 Sidra for the Machina matchup, and then other decks like that are annoying, like Glad Beast and stuff like that. 2 Thunder King to summon against like the hero decks and like the Machina decks, any deck that's like summoning Stratos type monsters. Then for traps, we play the 3 Decree. You have to play it, I think, because like this deck, if you can lock out your opponent's back row, like, you will win the game, because back row is what stops this deck. It's nothing else. It's just back row. So you have to, I mean, obviously like a Christia or something like that would stop it, but yeah, like Decree is just too good. Then we play 3 Mask Restrict for like the Frog Monarch matchup, because that matchup is super annoying. And then 2 My Body as a Shield, because we do have a lot of little guys in here. This is more of like attack for like Icarus and stuff like that, but to be honest, this is more of just attack. You could cut this. I think like if you cut this, then you can go like DD Crow, Soul Release, or to be honest, I'd probably play like more outs to stuff like Christie and whatnot. So you could play like Smashing Grounds, you could play Soul Takers, whatever you feel like playing. This is just kind of like a flex spot. And then we do play Heavy Storm in the side. I don't play it in the main because the same logic of like, if your opponent never sees you mill the Heavy Storm, then they're gonna think like it's still in deck, so they're always gonna play around heavy. So might as well just never show it, make them think you're playing it. So, and then in the side, it's actually there. And then for extra deck, we play the Chimera Tech. For the Cyber Dragons, we play 2 5-headed dragon. You have to play 2 because like if you Future Fusion 1 out and then you draw Dragon's Mirror, so I think 2 is the right number. Then we play Armory Arm, Catastor, Brio, Goyo, Black Rose, Avenging Knight, Stardust, Thought Ruler, Colossal, Iron Chain. The reason we're playing Iron Chain is because like your Debris can bring back the Raikou, go into Iron Chain, and then you can banish Iron Chain for your Red MD. And then, or you can even go like, you know, Debris, bring back Dandy, then just banish the Debris. Same reason we play Ancient Fairy and like Red Dragon. They're just dragons you can go into to get Red MD out, and then, you know, get more damage on board. So yeah, guys, that's a deck. This deck is phenomenal, and you're going to see that from the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into them for you guys. All right. All right. So the first one, I believe we played against, well, I guess we're going to find out. I'm trying to remember this one. Sorry, guys. We play a lot of Edison format. All right, so sorry, I forgot to draw a card in the beginning there, but here we go. We're going to Solar Recharge out of our hands, and Arcus. We're going to pick up Raikou and another Solar Recharge. Mill Judgment Dragon Raikou. Activate Charge here. So I want to activate the Charge just to get like another Lightsworn I can ditch, because I'm probably going to set the Raikou. I don't want to pitch the Raikou. Send the air in. So we're going to set that Raikou, we're going to set Mirror Force. Opponent sets 1, sets a back row, which I thought this was questionable because like my opponent knows I'm on Lightsworn. So here we are, we flip up the Raikou, and we're going to find out that it's a hamster, and I was just like, why set that when you know I'm playing Lightsworn. Like, he had to know when I set a Hamster or a Raikou, right? And then I summon Lila. I'm not gonna, you know, worry about the back row here. I'm just gonna try to attack. Opponent drops Trag, which is fine. So I go to main 2. I use the Lila. I'm gonna break the back row now, which is a Book of Moon. Fine. Now we're basically just playing a game against a Tragodia here. So our opponent's going to use Charger Light Brigade. I'm assuming they're just playing Hamster Raikou, but now he reveals that he's on Machina. So he doesn't get a Fortress Engrave. Gets a Raikou. Switches Trag. He attacks my Raikou. I Mirror Force it. Want to get rid of it. Trying to keep the advantage with the bodies, just in case it draws Celestia or something. Flip up the Lila. I'm going to summon Plague here. And then I'm going to make a Brionic play. And then I'm going to be able to discard the Dandelion, which is going to give me 2 tokens. And then I'm going to use Plague Effect Engrave. So I'm pretty much just trying to put as much damage on board as I can here. So we get the Plague. I'm going to turn that into yugioh. Go battle. We're going to swing for 23. Going to swing for 28. Hopefully no Gores. No Gores here. Set the call. And then here's where I get my opponent picks up the fortress. So then he avarices. I'm like, that's fine. So he's going to be up 1 card on me. No big deal. Summons DD Warrior Lady. So I'm like, man. So he made the play that I wanted him to make here. He didn't know that, obviously, but he killed the Brio, which means I'm going to be able to call the Haunted it back. So then he DD Warriors the yugioh away. He's at 14. I'm seeing if he sets back row. He doesn't. My turn, I draw. I bring back the Brio, and he knows it's a wrap. So there we go. Move on to the next game. So our opponent summons Gear Frame. It's going to grab Fortress. Sets a back row. We have Sidra. We don't want to use the Sidra on a Gear Frame. Not worth. So we Future Fusion off the rip. I'm going to send 5 dragons. Now we are set. We got a loaded grave, so we're going to have summons for turns. Then we Gold Sark out for the JD. Going to get that in 2 turns. Set Hamster. Set the trap. Our opponent didn't know he played Gale. Our opponent goes Black Rose, which, I mean, definitely wasn't expecting that. I mean, you can't play around everything. So he nukes the board, which is whatever. Sets a back row, so no Fortress came down. I was thankful for that. So we got 1 out of 2 on the Gold Sark. I slowly recharge away the Aaron. I'm going to draw Hamster and Lila. I'm going to summon the Lila. We're going to go battle. Get hit with a Book of Moon again. 2 for 2 on the book versus a Lila. Our opponent passes. We draw another Sidra. We get the JD to hand. So obviously I don't want to just like summon JD here. So I'm going to attack for 17. He drops Trag, which is whatever. So then I think I'm just going to set mill 3 at the end phase. So now hoping a Raikou can take care of this Trag, which he kills the Hamster here. I'm going to get my Raikou. He uses Trag to try to take my Lila, which is fine. I think he's trying to mill a Fortress here. And he doesn't. He misses, hits all spells and traps. So I draw Lumina here. And now I have some pretty cool plays I can do. So I go Raikou to pop the Trag, then a mill 3. I'm going to drop JD here. I'm going to pay 1,000. Because I'm like, I can get him really low this turn. So I go Lumina. I'm going to pitch a Sidra, which is fine because I still have the other Sidra in hand. And then I'm going to swing for a lot of damage here. And then our opponent is going to drop Gores. He'll be at 600. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to blow up my field. I have 14 cards left in deck too, so I have to also be wary of like how many cards I'm milling here. So I mill Dandy. I'm going to get 2 tokens. I pass back to him. He averages again. Gosh, this card's so good. Going to put back all 5 cards in the grave, or all 5 monsters, I should say. Finally gets the fortress. He is going to ram that, or wait, he's summoning another fortress, that's right. So he's going to ram 1 fortress into JD, which he'll be left at 100 life points after that, which is going to be easy to take from him. He kills a token, activates Zombie World. Here I draw Plague Spreader, and I like think for a minute. I'm like, how can I do anything? So this is my play. I'm going to switch token to attack. I'm going to take a lot of damage here, which is fine. And then main 2, I'm going to special Sidra. I obviously can't Chimera Tech now because of Zombie World. So then I normal Plague Spreader. I'm going to make Black Rose, nuke the board, leave him at nothing. He draws nothing, and then I draw Charge for game. Yeah, guys, so that was game 1 here. Or sorry, that was game 2 of match 1. Okay, just get back in here real quick. I'm going to play you guys the second game because I really, really want to show off this deck, and I want you guys to see the power of this deck. So I lose the RPS. Our opponent goes E-Call for Stratos. Just going to fetch Ocean, which is fine. I draw for turn. It's the Graganith, so I'm going to slowly recharge that away. Pick up Gold Sark, Hamster. I decided Gold Sark right away for JD. Summon Arcus, mill 2. I don't want him to know I have Honest, so I didn't swing at it. He goes, attacks with the Alias he just summoned, and I drop Honest. Got to remind him to take 1200 here. So I drop turn, Celestia. I'm like, man, that was a good draw. So I summon it. I go to hit this in a back row. He has Bottomless. So I am going to lose my Celestia, but he also gets rid of his Stratos. Summons an Ocean to beat me for 15. I'm going to get my JD this turn. So here, I'm like not trying to summon the JD again. I don't like being greedy. Plus, I like summoning JD when I'm going for game. So, attack, takes 400. So, my opponent has Miracle. And then here's where I'm like, on the next turn, I'm like, I feel like I should summon JD. But then again, my JD just insta loses out here. But it was probably the correct play to make, was to summon the JD here. But I went to Bree Dragon. And then I was going to try to Black Rose here, then summon JD. But now, you know, I left my cards up for a while, but he says wait. So I'm like, okay. So I brought my guys back. So Hero blasted a Bree Dragon. I don't think he even realized what was coming. But, yeah. Which is fine. I just set Hamster. I probably should have dropped JD just to nuke the field. And then... I just realized I summoned twice that turn. It's fine, though. The game's over. Didn't really matter. But, yeah. I probably should have... I don't know why I did that, but I probably should have summoned the JD there to nuke. But even if I did nuke, I lose out my JD, and then I'm wide open, and the Hero Blast added back Alias. So I'm probably going to die anyway. I don't think there was any good way for me to win that game. So Gold Sark right away after the Solar. I'm going to set Hamster. Set Future Fusion. The reason I set Future Fusion is because I actually sided out one of my red MDs, and so I was short a dragon because I have 2 dragons in hand, which was wild, and then I gold sarked the JD, obviously. So I was too short on dragons to feature fusion. Opponent has heavy storm. It's going to hit the decree and the feature fusion, which stung a little bit. He passes. Seems like he bricked. I get the JD to hand. I summoned Aaron. Hit him for 16. So I mill 2. I get the dandy tokens. Set 4 was wild. So I go swing for 16 here. He's going to take it. Main 2. Flip up hamster to get the Raikou. He allows it, which is fine. And then I'm going to pass. He summons Alias. Alias is going to beat the hamster here. So I take 800. On my turn, I am going to swing at the Alias because I just picked up Honest. He allows it to happen. I go damage. Send the Honest. Main 2, I flip up Raikou. Raikou's going to pop a back row. And then he says he wants to chain Torrential, and I'm like, sure, whatever. So, lose out my field. No biggie. So I summon Debris Dragon here, even though I have the hamster that I just set. Because I'm like, oh, I can make Black Rose here. But I figured he had Starlight Road. It's just that I have gas in my hand. Like I would rather lose my Black Rose to Starlight than JD, because I have to play through these back row. I have to get rid of them. There could be too many D Prisons or Mirror Forces or Gemini Sparks and stuff like that set. So I still get my Dandy tokens, even though he does road it. So then I Dragons me here. I'm like, I can just run over the Stardust. And then summon out 5-headed. I go for battle to swing at that. He D-prisons. I'm like, sure. And that's exactly why I said I had to clear everything. So then here, I'm like, man, if only I had a light monster just summon and run over this Stardust. But we don't. So we're going to summon Red Eyes Wyvern. We're going to banish it for Red MD. And then our opponent admits defeat. So what tells me there is our opponent just didn't have any more real back row set. It's probably Hero Blast and Gemini Sparks. Okay. So our opponent's going to go first game 3. They summon a Banisher. They set a back row. I'm like, cool. I'm going to summon Drago here. Try to beat over it. But he gets bottomless. So then I go set the Decree. Our opponent summons another Banisher. So we get hit twice. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to Decree you after you set that back row. Then I set Honest, so I can't take damage. He takes 300 here. Passes back to me. I pick up Wyvern, so now I can start beating over these Banishers. So I bounce the Honest back to hand. Summon Wyvern. I beat over a Banisher. Pass back to him. He sets another back row into Decree. I go battle. I run over the other Banisher. I Gold Sark. Solar Recharge. Gonna pick up Wyvern and Raikou. So I'm thinking here, I just set a Raikou. Our opponent summons Ocean with Skyscraper, so he's gonna be able to beat over the Wyvern. Which, no biggie. You know, I'm gonna take 700. So this time I flip the Raikou. I'm going to hit the Ocean, which is cool. I'm gonna tribute for Celestia to pop Skyscraper in a back row. Because Skyscraper's threatening if he summons like literally any hero, just beats over Celestia. But I do have the Honest, but still, in any world I'm popping this Skyscraper just because the back rows are locked out anyway. He draws Feature Fusion, which some weird stuff happened here. Like he added Captain Gold to his hand, but then he was like, oh, I'm going to send it. And then he just summons out 0, and I'm like, bruh, like you get it in 2 turns. So then he's like, oh, miracle, I forgot to do this first. So I'm like, sure. So then he goes to battle, goes to attack Celestia. I drop Honest, and then our opponent just quits. So, I mean, he knew it was game because he was going to take 23 here, and then on the following turn, all it takes is literally 1 monster, and I win the game, and he knows I get JD. Yeah, so that's the power of the deck, guys. It's very, very strong. Again, man, like, I'm new to this whole creating content and also playing my games and talking about them, so I'm not by any means telling you guys like I'm a perfect player, I play the deck perfectly. I'm just showing you what I can do with it. There's going to be people who can play it better than me. There's people who can do it better than me. But I'm just showing you guys the power of this deck, what it can do, some cool plays you can do with it, and how I built it. And I really, really hope you guys like the deck and you like the content I'm putting out. It takes quite a bit of time, quite a bit of effort to do stuff like this and make videos for you guys. So please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you love Edison format, tell your friends about the channel because we're going to be dropping a lot more content regularly. I'm trying to shoot for at least 2 to 3 videos a week, so you have that to look forward to. Also, I am planning on building a Discord server for the channel. There's going to be a lot of new things coming. So as long as the channel keeps growing, more things are going to come. Also, for those of you who like Edison format but also play advanced format, I'm going to have some more advanced format content coming to you. I'm going to start dropping some videos on like the current meta in advance next week. Just wanted to kind of get out some Edison ideas this week while they're fresh, while they're in my head. So again, guys, I appreciate every single one of you that takes the time to watch any of my videos. It really means a lot, to be honest. This is something that I've been passionate about for years, just Yu-Gi-Oh in general. So it's really cool I'm able to now bring other people the joy that I get through the game. So again, thanks for watching. Peace.